Okay, so yesterday we have seen that how actually we can open up different browsers using a short and simple command. Right. Now, using those commands, I can go on and open up the browsers. On those browsers, I can just go on and open any URL that I want. That I can do. That's also a just a minute. Am I audible to you? So now before going to the part that where we can open up the browsers, before that I want to take on something else which is important enough to understand before making the test cases. Right. Right now what we are doing is loosely just opening the browser and working on the code. This is what my file is doing. Right. But what I want is that whatever test case I write, it should be in the form of a test case only, not a loosely packed code. So to bound it into a test case, what do I actually need? So for that, I need another package, external package that is named as PyTest, which is specifically for the test cases building. There are some rules to make the test cases using the PyTest. And likewise, PyTest, there are many more frameworks, projects available for the test cases itself, but PyTest is way more easier to understand and easy to use as well. Right. So how to get it into your system? That's also very easy. Just go to your browser, whichever you like, and look for download PyTest. This is again a one-line command which you will be running on your a one-line command to run only on your command prompt using the PIP package manager. You're going to get it into your system. Simple command, you'll run on command prompt and your package will be installed into your system. Okay, once the installation in your system is done, then what next you need to do is you need guys, please tell me once if you can hear me properly.
Yes, I can hear you properly.
Okay,
Jaspreet.
okay. And where we were, yeah, we installed the PyTest package into the system, right? Now our projects which we make in Python, sorry, in the PyCharm modules, the projects that we are making, all the external packages are dependent according to the projects. Whichever project is having the particular external package, that will be used in it. So packages installation in PyCharm is dependent on project itself. Right. So to use it in my batch March 2 project, I have to import that external file PyTest in my project as well. So I'll go to File, Settings, Project Name and Project Interpreter. From here, plus the same steps we followed while importing Selenium into our project, the same steps you have to follow. look for PyTest and install that particular package. So it has been imported into our project, so I'll click on apply OK, and my PyTest is now ready to use to make my test cases. Now there are some rules. There are some rules to write the test cases, not actually to write the test cases, but yes, to make the file of the test case. So right now I'm just making a normal file, let's say demo file, and in this file, in this demo file, I'm going to make a test case. And the creation of a test case is no different than making a function in Python. The same keyword will be used, def, followed by the name of the test case that you want to give. Let's say I want to give it as demo1 again. The same name, the same process will be there. No big difference. What's the difference now that we have to make it a test case, not a function? So there are specifically three rules which you need to follow to make them a test case. First one, the file name that you are going to give, my file name is demo.py. The file name of a test case file in which your test case is lying should always start from test underscore. So if I make a file in which I want to keep a test case, it will be test underscore demo.py in this case. There can be test dot more of the test cases which you want to give. Likewise, the file name will be. Second one, let it be clear enough. File name should start with test underscore. The second rule is for the test cases itself. I said there is no big difference between creating a function and a test case. So same rule applies here also. The file name rule applies here also to differentiate a function and a test case. Your test case should also start with test underscore. Basically, it is a function only, but we are differentiating it using the PyTest. So PyTest has a norm that the test case name, the function should start with test underscore, so that it can identify it, that it's not a normal function, it's a different type of function. Should start with test underscore. And third is for the classes. In any case, you are not making just a test case, you are making a test class in which you are going to keep multiple test cases. So in that case, the class name should start from the name test with a capital T. And this is for class name. Okay, these three rules you need to follow. If none of the rule is followed, like if any of the rules you have not followed, the file name is not starting from test case, but inside that file there is a test case itself. This is a test case itself. If I give some name to it, let's say I give it as right now let's print it in test case demo 1, right? Inside this right now I'll be doing the print statement. Later on we'll come to Selenium code as well. Now I have to run this, right? Running the files are simple enough. I told you earlier as well. You will get the option over here. But whichsoever files are going to be running the test cases, they will have a different type of run information given. It will not be like this. I'll show you how. Firstly, you need to make a change in your settings to use the PyTest. Go to File, Settings, Tools, and in the tools, Python integrated tools. Here different things are given. You have to change into the testing section. Default test runner is some another framework. You have to change it to PyTest, which we are using. Click on apply and OK. Right. Now if I right click over here, you can see that different information is given over here along with the run keyword. It is pytest in demo py. That means this file that you're going to run is now going to be running as a test file. So if I run this, so it passed the test case over here. It simply passed the test case. But now, suppose there are more of the files, there are more test cases over here, which is following the rule test underscore demo2, and inside this also test case is made. This, right? Now if I save this, and now I don't want to run the individual file. What I want is I want to run them in batch. That means all the test cases I want to run at one command. Be it 2 test cases, be it 20 test cases, be it 2000 test cases. To run all the test cases on one single command, you can do that from your IDE. You can simply go and click on the package name and run that. So it gives you collected one item and this has been passed. We have run the whole package. We have not run a single file, the whole package. There are 2 test cases in my package, but one is not following the convection. One file name is not as per the convection I told you. It is not starting from test underscore, because of which only it has collected only one of the test cases which was in the another file, which was in the test demo2 file, this one. From here it has collected it, ran the particular test case and gave me the information that it has passed properly, and this is the print statement coming up. This is why the convections are important, because if they are not being followed, they are not going to be picked up by the package itself. The PyTest is not going to run those test cases. So it's very important to do that. Secondly, sometimes in our test cases there are print statements that we use, standard output statements, right? So right now it's being displayed in this form. Firstly, I'm getting the output that whether I have got the test case as failed or as passed. First I'm getting that, and then my print statement is coming. It's just about the configuration. You can change the configuration anytime. You have a number of configurations over here, right? What you need to do is go to edit configuration, whichever file you want to change in. I want to change it in PyTest in this particular file. Here is my print statement, or let's say here is my print statement in the package itself, and as many as test cases there are, I want to be applying one change on all. There is a marker -s. This marker is going to be added in the additional arguments. Why? Because it helps you to print the standard output on your console in a proper manner. If I apply this and OK, and I run it again, now this time my output has been changed and modified a little. It is giving me an information from which file it ran the test case, which test case ran, what was inside, and whether it passed or failed. So this is the thing that you have to focus on, the convections. Mark these convections properly and then it's good to go. Now I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to make one test case file as per the convections, test demo 1. I'm going to remove this particular file which is not following the convection, and inside this test demo 1, the currently made file, I'm going to introduce my Selenium code. So I'll say def test underscore let's say test case test 1. Let's test first. And what we are aware about Selenium code right now, to open up the browsers, right? So I'll be just going on, I'll say WebDriver. I have to import it, so I'll just will go on WebDriver dot Chrome. That's it, right? Now I just need to run this test case. So it will open up a blank Chrome browser for me like this way, and will give me the information that whether the test case was failed or passed. Simple enough. Now taking it further, suppose on this browser that we have opened, I want to go to some URL. How will I be able to go to that URL? Currently the object that has been made is a hanging object. I have to make a reference so I can use the same object throughout my test case. So I'll make a reference. I'll say, let's say driver is a variable which is holding the object, and I'll use this reference ahead to go to the URL that I want. So I'll say driver dot all the functions which are associated with this WebDriver class, they are coming up over here. Quit, back, title. Title is for the page title, whichever page you are going to open. You can look for the title of the page. That will be giving up over here. Next is the get function. Now get function is what we require right now. Because I need to go to some URL, this get function is going to help me. I just need to pass on the URL of the site which I want to navigate to, and that particular URL is going to open on the browser I have opened. So let's say I want to go on let's say flipkart.com. I want to go on that site. So I'll save this, I'll rerun this. So you can see over here, it's navigating me to the next URL that I have given, that is flipkart.com. Since Chrome has an additional facility that once the execution is successfully completed, it closes the browser itself. So sometimes the output is way too quick that one cannot look for that. So that's why, let's say I will go on Firefox browser so that you can see easily that I'm been navigating to the URL on every browser that I have been specifying. Firefox browser does not quit itself. For that you have to give the command so that in the end whatever output is, your browser quits. So you can see blank Firefox browser. Now it will take me to flipkart.com. Like this. So I'll close this and done. Now I can make multiple test cases in a single file. I can make multiple files having multiple test cases. Whatever you want, you can just do that in the file. If you want to make a class, you can make the class as well. Again, I'm going to make a few test cases. For multiple test cases, I'm showing this to you. Second, and then third. Right. Now if I have to run all these test cases, I know what I have to do. I just have to run my package itself. All the test cases given are going to be collected and they are going to be running as if they are as per the conviction. Right. Now, there are another ways to run the test cases as well. You can run the test cases in batch from your command prompt as well. How? Let's just take a look at that as well. So I'll open up a command prompt. First thing that you have to do over the command prompt is to be at the location where your test package is lying. Right. Here is my test package. I'll just will go over here to take the path. This is the path. I'll take it. And now I am at that location where my package is lying. One line command is there to execute all the test cases in this package. What that command is? PyTest. That's it. That's it. If I'll press enter, it will collect 4 test cases. 3 test cases from test demo file it's been collecting, and 1 from the test demo 2 file which only have a print statement inside. If none of them is following, if any of them is there which is not following the terms, following the rules, then that test case is not going to be included in here. So you can see over here that I am being routing to different URLs on different browsers. It will close and then so it will take me to Amazon, I believe. Yeah, Amazon.com, and here my test cases are completely running and I got the output over here. 4 passed. In whatever time it has passed, that's coming up. From which file how many test cases are coming? That's being coming up with this dots. You can see green dots means successful execution. If there is some failure, then that will be a red F, and if there is a skip, then it will be an yellow one. That's the kind of colors that are been specified for the test cases result, and this way I can run. Might be I just want to run one test case from a file, or I just want to run the test cases from a particular file. Right, let's say I want to run the test case from the second file in which there is a single print statement. From there I want to run it. So I just need to specify the name of the file from which I want to run. That's test demo 2 file. It has a print statement. So to get that printed here on the console, you have to add the marker -s. That you need to do. So now if I run this, it says file not found. Maybe I have given the wrong name. So let me just see one more time. Test demo 2.py. It's giving me test 1. Just a minute. Oh, I'm still not in the package. I didn't observe this. I'm till at this point. I'm still not in the package. So I'll go into the package cd day 3. Now if I'll execute the same command, now it will run the test case. PyTest is so smart that in the project, anywhere where your test cases are lying, it collects it and it runs it if the norms are followed. And this way, a specific file you can run. Suppose from a file there are 100 test cases and you want to execute only one test case out of those 100 test cases. That is also possible. How? The marker will change. If there are some print statement, you can let the hyphen s stay, and you have to add the marker hyphen k for a single test case out of a file. So I'll say this, and I have to give the name of the test case which I want to run. So let's say I want to give uh, this test case a run from this file. So it collected, you can see over here, it collected 3 items. That means on that file there were 3 test cases. Which one I am running, that has been selected. I am being routing to the flipkart.com. That was my first test case, and 2 got deselected. That 2 didn't run, and I got the information here as well over here that I selected only one which passed and others got deselected. This way I can run specific test cases from that particular file. Okay, clear till this point? Any question, any doubts?
Good morning. Actually, I missed. I have joined late, right? So, do we need to install a PyTest before doing this?
Your voice is breaking. I could not understand.
Okay.
Can you just message that in the chat box? I'll read it from there.
Uh,
Any doubts from others? Clear till this point? How the test cases are running, how they are being collected? Now, these were the individual test cases. Suppose there are some test cases which are divided into groups. We can make groups as well of test cases, some sanity groups or some smoke test cases I can make. I can group the test cases easily. Right. That also we can run. How to group the test cases? That's very easy. You don't have to hassle much. Just that right now, till time we have not used the package in our code yet. We are just using the functionality of that. To group the test cases, I am now going to introduce my PyTest package over here. So I'll say PyTest. It's already imported in my project, so it will be imported directly. I don't have to make changes much. Here it got. To use that on our code, on our test cases, they are going to be used in the form of annotations. Mostly in the form of annotations. You can directly also use, but mostly in form of annotations they are going to use. Let's say I want to group the first 2 test cases in one group and another in the second group. So I'll use the annotation pytest dot mark dot the name of the group you want to give. Let's say I want to group it in the group 1. This will be my group. Fine. Now now in this group I want to introduce whichever of the test cases. I have to apply this annotation on the test case. I want the test case 3 to be in the group 1. So that will be over here. I want the test second into another group. So I'll change the name of the group and I'll make it, let's say, 2. This way. This way my grouping has been done. But grouping the test cases are not going to be executed on your IDE. To run these in the groups, you have to use the command prompt part. Right, there are markers which we are going to use, additional markers that we are going to use. So if I say that from this file test demo1 execute one group, I want to execute one particular group, so I'll use the marker -m for mango that we're going to use, and I'm going to specify which group I want to run. Let's say I want to execute group 2. So if I press enter, again what was happening in the previous run, it collected 3 items. In group 2 there is only one test case which has to be executed, which is the Myntra.com part, where I'm going to the Myntra part. So that test case is being executed. If I'll say there is some marking coming, we can ignore this marking because the annotation has been deprecated, but the recent annotation has not been given so far, so you can ignore this thing. Suppose I want to run the another group, so I'll change the group name to the another group name, and now it has collected 3 items and one is deselected. One is deselected, which is of the test case of group 2. So that has been deselected and others are running like this. So you can see it's taking me to the another browser with another URL, amazon.com, and it's completed over here. This way it runs. That could also be a possibility that there are 10 test cases which are in another group and 90 test cases in another group. I want to run the test cases which are not in the first group. Means in the negative scenario, don't run this test case. That kind of thing is going to happen. So that also you can do. You can use the command again. You want to exclude all the test cases which are in the group 1. So you can use not 1. That means excluding all the test cases which are in the group 1 and running rest all the test cases. That will run the test cases which are not grouped as well. So this not keyword is for that. This also gives you the same result which comes up in the previous runs. So I'm not executing it again, but this way you can run it. Okay. Now these were grouping of the test cases. Using the same kind of markers, you can also skip the test cases as per your requirement. For that, the marker is going to be the same, pytest.mark till the time it's same. Then it will become dot skip. And if you want, you can give some message that why are you interested in skipping the test cases. In this this specific test case, why you're skipping it, you can give. Let's say I say do not execute. Simply do not execute. And if I run this single file over here from my IDE, what's going to happen is it's going to run the test cases normally. Just at the end the difference is going to come. I'll show you. Let it run first. So here it is done. If we'll take a look at our PyCharm, this one, my first test case passed. Second test case I wanted to skip, so that is being skipping over here, skipped, it's clearly saying, and whatever message you have passed, that's coming up over here, and third got passed. And here I got the result, 2 passed, 1 skipped in this much seconds. This way you can skip the test cases as well. Okay. Clear till this point? You can tell me if any doubt is there. Running in batch we have seen. Next is parameterizing the test case. Now this is something important which we will be using further as well. Suppose I'm going to make one more test case, test file. Suppose there is a need in which there are some additional there are some arguments on which I have to perform the arithmetic operations. I have to add the numbers that I'm getting, that I want to do using the test case itself. So will go on, I'll say test underscore add 1. I'll accept the parameters over here in this test case from user or from the call here also. Will say 5 or 9, and will say not here. I'll say result is equals to 5 plus 9 and print my result. That's what we can do. So for different numbers, I either have to call it using the user input, either I have to call the input function over here, or I have to pass the parameters again and again, or either I have to give it in the hard-coded way. And I may have 10 pair of numbers that I have to calculate the result of. So what will happen is, will take this function, and for different outputs I will be calling it again and again. Okay, fine, this is the test case. Change the numbers and call it again. So this will be a bad approach, plus it will be a duplicacy in my code, and a number of test cases will be made which are of the same kind, just the input parameter is being changed. So just to avoid that, my functionality is same in the test case, just the parameter is being changing. So for that, what we do is we parameterize our test case. We parameterize our test case with the parameters, the changing parameters. How to do that? Let's say I'm commenting it for the time, or let's say it got deleted, no ways. I'll make one function, one normal function, which is going to add. This function is going to accept parameters a and b whenever it's been called, and I'll return the output of this. That's what I want to do. Simple and short function. Now I'll make the test case on which I'm going to have the parameters being passed. So let's say the function is def test underscore calculate. This will be my function, and in here in this function I will call my add function. I have to pass two parameters, a comma b. These two I have to pass. So now from where I am going to get this? I'm going to have the parameters in a form of list, which is going to be implemented over here. So I'll take the use of PyTest marker, PyTest dot mark dot parameterize. To this annotation, two things are passed. First thing is the parameters which are actually going to be passed to the test case. Now there are two things which are going to be passed, A and B, the two parameters that I need. So I'll just will say A or A comma B. These two I need to pass to my test case in the A comma B. These two things will be passed, and I have to pass it to the test case here as well. So I'll say A comma B like this. Right. Now which parameters will be expecting? That has been specified. What will be the value that I need to tell? So for that, this square bracket is not actually a pair of parentheses. It's a data structure which is being used over here. That is a tuple. For the data structures, I'll request you guys to please do watch the Python basic data structure videos so that you can differentiate the data structures itself. Okay, inside the tuple, I'm going to introduce the list. Let's say I say 4 comma 7. This is one set of mine. There is another set of mine, let's say, which is 7 comma 8. 7 comma 8, and these two data set will be inside a list. So what I will do is I'll just will print this. I'll save this and I'll run this. I got some exception. Just a minute. I gave it opposite. List will be here. Just a minute. These two will come. Why is it not taking? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. because in this format it only was. Oh, it's not picking up. There might be something different that has been happening. I'll see to it that what's wrong over here. But otherwise, if I have to pass a number of parameters that to one test case which have the same functionality, then the parameterized annotation is going to help me on. Why is it not working? Is not wrong what I have been doing. It's the tuple that we give. It's not even accepting the list. What's wrong? Just give me 1 minute. I'll just will see to it and I'll just will come. Just 1 minute. Previously also I was doing the same thing. Okay. So this is how it's going to be. Whichever parameters we are going to pass to the test case, that will come in the double quotes. In one single quote it will come. I was putting in two different ones. That's why it was not expecting. Then different data sets to be passed. This is one set of parameters that I have. I have to give more, so I'll have more of them. Let's say I want to have 5 of them. Any values could be there. Let's say 9. Likewise, I have 5 data sets over here, and now you can see over here 5 test cases are being collected. These parameters which are being passed, they are being considering a different set of data to my test case, and with those different data set, 5 different test cases got created like this. And here my result is coming. To correct the result in the correct format, you can just edit the configuration. -s will come in the additional arguments. Apply. OK. And here the output will come like this way. Now this is just calculating the value. What if I have to compare it, that whether it's right or wrong, the value that is being calculated, if it is wrong or right, so I know what the value is going to be coming. I will calculate it with me, I'll keep it with me, and I'll compare. So one more parameter I will be passing over here, let's say output, and the same will be passed here as well, output, and I'll say whatever result is being coming from this add function, I'll store it into another variable. I'll say result is equals to this. So there are two parameters. One is result, which is being a calculated result from our system, from our test case, and second one is the parameter output, which I will be passing as per my calculation, that what comes out to be. I can compare these two. I can say I can use if else condition over here, that if result is equals to output, then do something. If it is not, then do something else. That I can do. But along with this, we have a keyword which does the same thing. Assert keyword. The assert keyword compares the actual result and the expected result. If they are equal, the test case will be passed. If they are not equal, I will get an exception. So I will say over here assert result equals to output. That I can do. But I need to have this parameter passed output. So my parameter list will be having something over here. One more value will be coming. 12 and 9 is equals to, I guess, 21. This will become 52. Let's say this value is, I'm going to pass a wrong value to these parameters. I'm going to pass incorrect value. Let's say 60. Right. Now if I save this and I run this, here is my result coming up. Which test case executed? 4, 7. They are equal. The result is fine. So it passed. Second is also fine. That passed. Third is also fine. That's passed. Next one, to which I gave the wrong calculated value from my end. So over here it says this is the data set which has caused the error. Why is it caused the error? This is the actual result, the computed result. And what I have given is not matching. So because of that, it has failed my test case, giving me an assertion error. Same way, there was another data set which was also having wrong value this way, and that also failed. If I'll correct these outputs, I'll say 42 and 63, and I save this and I run this. Now this time all the test cases got passed. This way, this assert keyword works and is beneficial to me. Okay. This was about the basics of the PyTest that we have to use in the coming time, the general thing. If you have any doubts or questions, do let me know so that I can understand, I can get to know that you are clear with the points. If not, then please tell me. Okay. If there is no response, then fine. If it is good, then good. So I'll request you to practice this. In the next session, we'll take our information to the next level so that we can start working with the automation of the URL, right? Because we need to interact with the web page now. We know how to open up the browser, we know how to go to the URL. Next step is to interact with the elements on the web page. So that we'll cover in the next session. Till the time, do practice this, and thank you.